Welcome, Tribe, to Wellness Wednesday. Come on in. We're so excited to have you. Tonight we're talking mental health checks, what that means, what that looks like, and how do we take care of ourselves on a daily basis. So come on in. Let me know how you're feeling on this Wednesday. I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're doing good. Let me know in the chat. Let me know that you're here. I see that Ayla Trees Boutique is here. Hi, guys. Hi. Come on in. I'm CEO Shar, and tonight's expert is Arlesha Pugh. She is a clinical therapist. So if you have questions throughout the night, drop them in the chat. If you want to submit questions anonymously, you can do so before the show by filling out the form in our bio. Tell us how you're feeling today. We're talking mental health. We're talking wellness. This is Wellness Wednesday. Again, I'm CEO Shar. Yeah, so let's get started. Are you ready, Arlesha?
I am.
Okay, so first things first, what is mental health?
What is mental health? Okay, so mental health is really a state of being. So just a state of mind and overall emotional, psychological, mental well-being. So it affects, the way you socialize with other people. It affects the way your everyday life goes. And just, it's things like that. That's basically what mental health is in a nutshell.
Gotcha. And so when speaking on mental health and your body and your mind, what does it look like to do mental health check-ins and to start checking in with yourself? How can we do that?
So really, it's important just to be mindful and to practice mindfulness. And you can tell when you're stressed, even if you don't know, like, what's stressing you out. Just in your body, you might feel tense, you might feel warm, things like that. Just checking in and just being aware of your surroundings and what's going on and just how you're feeling. It's important for mental health checks, but also just everyday life, like with work, making sure you're not, letting it consume you. Once you're off work, you're off work. Not talking about work after work.
Yes.
Taking off when you need to. You don't even have to, really give a reason to use your PTO. I know some people don't. Some people don't really have the luxury of PTO. But it's important just to take those days just to, mentally recharge, because you will burn out eventually. And then once you burn out, it'll come out in any way. You might be sleepy all the time. You're like, why am I sleepy all the time? My little sister just joined, so I can hear myself in the other room. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you talked about long term as far as your job and knowing when to feel your body being regulated. But is there a process? You said being mindful. So is there a process that we could do in our head as we're going throughout our day to check in and to be in tune with those emotions and then move through it, whatever it is?
Yeah, so with being mindful, sometimes we just don't even notice like what we're doing or what things feel like. If you are just driving and moving your toes around, you start to realize, oh, my feet are on the ground. Just being mindful of your surroundings, and then just doing breathing check-ins. Usually if you sit and you breathe, it can really clear your mind, to even help you to be able to figure out like what's going on or what the issue is. Yay, Rish! Rish took a mental health day today.
I love it.
And
Congratulations.
it's like
Thank you for
mental
doing
health
it.
days coming up.
I love it. Do y'all have mental health days at y'all job? Or any day? Like, what is mental health day for you?
So a mental health day is just a day when you take it off for yourself. You don't really have anything like planned unless you want to have something planned. So some people like going to get their hair done. Some people like getting nails done. Some people like just laying around and watching TV all day. Some people may visiting friends. But just a mental health day is taking off and not having a reason besides spending time with yourself.
Gotcha. And so, Tribe, if you have questions throughout the night, Arlesha is here. She is our expert. She is here for us. So if you have questions, drop it in the chat. If you want to ask an anonymous question, we have a form in our bio. So fill it out and we'll answer it in real time. But we did get a question from our tribe member ahead of the show. And so she asks, what do you think can be the benefit from therapy? Why or why not? What are the benefits? Do you think people need it? Just help us, teach us, help us.
So, in my personal opinion, I feel like therapy can be beneficial to everyone. A lot of people think therapy is just for people that, have experienced extreme trauma, and are not able to get past it. So, really, a lot of people think because you have PTSD, you should go to therapy. But really, therapy is just a place to be able to talk and just to be heard from a non biased person, just to sit, and people really just come and speak about things that sometimes they don't have people to talk to about. They just bounce ideas off. It just helps them clear their mind to be able to make the best decisions for themselves. And a lot of people think that therapy is getting advice, and that's not even really it. um, it's just helping the person to figure out what the best next move for them is.
Gotcha. And tribe, do we have any members who are in therapy, is brave enough to say, hey, I'm talking it out? So my follow-up question to that is, how do you know when to seek out a therapist? Or is therapy the right method? What
um,
other methods are there?
so with therapy, it takes a lot for people sometimes to um, make the decision to go to therapy. Um, and really, when you see that things are affecting just your everyday life, and your functioning, you may not be able to go to work. You may not be able to hang out with your friends. When you are at a point where things are starting to um, interfere with just living, then therapy might be beneficial to you. Um, Other things that people do, they might just make more time for self-care, because it's important to make time for self-care. So just finding out things that you enjoy doing on your own for stress management. Um, Maybe healthier eating habits might help out. Even some people or use medication. Um, so it's a lot of ways to, help regulate your emotions and your mood. You just have to figure out what's the best route to do it for you.
Gotcha. And so for those people who cannot go to therapy, what can we do every day to keep that mindfulness and to start thinking outside of ourselves to begin healing?
Yeah. So, I know that social media is big, and because of just the pandemic and all the racial things that is going on, people have been paying more attention to mental health. I feel like, or from
Yeah.
just what I've been seeing, and there's a lot of different, um, you know, social media pages that you can follow. They'll give you tips throughout the day. Um, Also, Taylor mentioned earlier her Apple Watch tells her to breathe. My Apple Watch tells me to breathe. It's important for that too. And then also just um, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. We'll bring it back. We'll bring
Okay.
it back. A little birdie told me that you have a mental health opportunity, startup business. Can you tell us more? And how can we connect with you and get those tips on social media?
Yeah. So I will be starting something soon on social media. And the reason I decided that it could be helpful to others is because therapy is not really accessible to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Therapy can be expensive, and with insurance is kind of a sticky thing too. So I feel like I just felt like in making it's an Instagram page. Um, in making it, I just felt like I could give some tips or some um, information or knowledge about mental health and just how to be a better whole person, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So, speaking on mental health and social media, we have a question from Rish, and she says, "Do you think social media plays a negative role in your mental health, and how can we turn it off if it is?"
Yeah, so it could, um, just because of a lot of the negative things that are going on in the world and people posting them. Um, Also with, body image and people looking up to different, I guess they would say Instagram models for like an ideal figure, that can make someone feel negatively about themselves, and that could have an effect on their mental health. So social media could, um, affect people's mental, and then also with adolescence and, cyberbullying and things like that, it could play a negative role. So it's important to be able to realize what you can handle and what you can't. You can mute words, you can block people, you can, limit your social media yourself. um, I know that on the iPhone, you can have it tell you when you've reached your limit for the day. Um, so it's different avenues or ways to do it. But social media could be both positive and negative.
Gotcha. And so, Tribe, if you have a question for Arlesha, drop it in the chat. So I'm going to keep asking. So, Arlesha, tell us. So, when we're in that process of cleansing and trying to move forward and, like I said, heal, what are some everyday healing tips that we can do outside of social media, outside of the PTO days, outside of being mindful? I know that for me, I like to use Post-it notes and keep notes in my phone of different affirmations and say them throughout the day when I'm feeling like I can't do it or when I'm becoming overwhelmed. So what can we do on a day-to-day basis? How can we train our mind to be well?
Yeah. So it really just depends on the person and what makes them feel good. So like you said, with you, just those positive sticky notes and reminding yourself of those things, that works for you, and it might work for other people. But just figuring out like what makes you feel good and what can keep you just emotionally and mentally well. Some people like going to the gym every day. There are different exercises like breathing techniques and things that you can do. There are different mindfulness activities that you could do. It just depends on what it's a lot. It could be difficult to figure out, but it might take some trial and error to figure out like what is the best thing for you. So I
Got
can't give like a straight answer because it just depends on the person.
Okay, okay. And so we're almost done. We're almost out of time. But I do want to ask you to give a tribute to the tribe. So what that means is leave us with a few words of encouragement, something you live by, anything that's going to just put a bow on it and help us keep moving forward.
Um, let's see. Maybe I should have had this together, huh?
That's all
Um,
right. We here. We family. It's okay.
Let me see.
Well, tribe. What are some things that you live by, and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other.
I
Let's end on a positive note, but give us something, Arlesha, something that we can walk away with.
Yeah. So, um, one thing I'll say is self-care is important. I know that it might not seem that way, but it's really important to allow yourself to have those breaks. Also, being assertive in your communication, just learning how to communicate in a way that's not passive and that's not aggressive, but also gets the point,
Mm-hmm.
saying no when you need to, and not feeling guilty for not having an excuse not to be able to do something. Because sometimes people, not even maliciously, try to get you to do things that they don't really want to do, but they know you'll do it. So they'll ask you to do it. Um, but just trying to make a balance of, can that really work with my schedule? Or will I be like drained trying to fit it in there? Or will I be stressed trying to fit it in there? Can they do it themselves? Or um, do they really need help? Just figuring out what all you can do and what you can't do and balancing your schedule so you're not overwhelmed.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Tribes. Let's say thank you to Arlesha. Thank you for your time. Be sure to follow us, hashtag Tribe Wellness, hashtag Tribe Tribute. And Arlesha, let us know where we can follow you and keep in touch with you.
Oh, on my social media?
Yes, let us know, girl. Let's follow.
Okay, so my social media is at Arlesha Lorene. I'm still working on my mental health page, so I'm not going to drop it yet, but I'll try to plan to have it up and running this summer. And then I will just let you know, Sharnice, and also just pass it along. But
All right, Tribe. All right, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Tribe. We'll see you next week for Wellness Wednesday. Let's continue the conversation on social media. Thank y'all. See y'all next week.